Judy, what are you covering your eyes for?
William, it's World Naked Gardening Day.
But if you don't uncover them, you're going to miss the newest concept in a garden center.
Oh.
We'll tell you more next, right here on Garden Time.
Welcome to Garden Time, and welcome to Drake 7 Dees on Shoals Ferry Road.
We're sitting in one of the new showrooms which showcases landscape design, and they still have a wonderful plant selection, and they're celebrating their re-grand opening today.
And today is World Naked Gardening Day, but we won't be celebrating that. But coming up in the show today, we'll be showing you how to have success in your vegetable garden.
We'll also be showing you how to redo your deck or patio.
But coming up first, grafted vegetables.
So it is such a real delight for me to be here at Log House Plants, and I'm here with Alice Doyle. And today, Alice, we are going to be talking about grafted vegetables. Now, we're in front of a whole bunch of tomatoes, but it's expanded beyond just tomatoes. But I need to know, what's the first thing you would want to say about grafted tomatoes?
Well, it's really worth it.
Yeah.
Once you try them, you won't go back, because it's one of the few things that in our 40 years of running Log House has come along that has really helped gardeners grow plants more successfully. Growing tropical vegetables in a temperate rainforest is hard to do.
It is hard to do. And here's one of the things that you kind of blew my mind when you said this, but tell me about this whole thing about when you look at this, you think there's thousands and thousands of varieties of tomatoes. Well, there's a lot of different types of tomatoes, but tell me what you said earlier.
Well, there's only one species that's edible. And there's so many other tomatoes that are in the world, wild, that have really important characteristics, but if you grow them, you won't get edible fruit.
Okay.
But if you add them to the species that we eat, and really worldwide, there's only one species of tomato that we eat.
That we really
All
eat.
the different civilizations and cultures eat the same.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So now, because these are all grafted, first of all, give me the easy reasons, the things that I could understand of why we would graft our vegetables.
Well, if we take these other species that have these innate qualities and add them as the roots, then they will make better roots, for one thing, than the original one. So all of a sudden, instead of a 2 to 3 foot wide root ball, you have 8 to 10 feet wide.
Which I would think really would help with water.
Right.
Right?
Yes, they're water-wise plants, definitely. They do more with less. Less water, less fertilizer, more fruit. These rootstocks that you can get, and there's actually 72 hybrid rootstocks available now in the world, you can choose them for what disease pressures you have. Really? So if you use them in a diseased soil, you don't have to spray or use methyl bromide to sterilize. You can plant into diseased soil without rotating and get more yield at the same time.
So Alice, how do these two things get put together?
When it's very small, we grow the way we do it is we grow the rootstock, and it looks like a tomato, but as I said, when you grow it out, it wouldn't make edible fruit.
Yeah.
Then you grow the tomato. When they're exactly the same diameter and shape, you graft them together by cutting off the top of the rootstock and cutting off the bottom at an angle of the scion that you've chosen for the taste that you want. And putting them together with a little clip that was invented in Japan. It's a little silicone clip. Then you put this new plant, the top and the bottom, put it together into the dark, high heat, high humidity, 80% humidity, 75 degrees heat for 3 days. And during that time, it's a miracle. Every time it creates a new plant. And it remaps and reconnects the vascular tissue.
Really?
And then after the 3 days, you bring it out and slowly, over a 3-day period, another 3-day period, wean it out of the high heat and the humidity. And then by the end of that 3 days, so it's a 6-day period, you have a new plant.
Yeah.
And they're more hardy. So if you have in your garden a grafted tomato next to a non-grafted tomato, by late September or October, you're starting to have a lot of fading. The tomato is not as strong anymore, but the grafted is still strong and beautiful and has so much fruit that really we tell people that you may even have more fruit than you should have because you never put a tomato in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And if it is as cold at night as the inside of your refrigerator at the end of September and
Yeah.
you still have fruit, it's time to cut the tomato, bring it in and hang it upside down in a warm place like a back porch or a garage or extra room, and let the rest of the fruit
Just
ripen.
as it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
And you know, one of the things too that I like about this whole concept, Alice, is that it takes some skill to do these. I mean, it's not like I can go home and put these together and tape them up.
You could do it. I bet you could do it. You could do it.
My grandfather would have said I could, but he was simply better than I was at that. But this takes some real skill. But the benefit of having a company like yours do it is now they are available at garden centers everywhere for us to buy and plant.
Well, it's a remarkable thing.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not just tomatoes, right? You have what other?
Cucumbers, peppers,
Wow.
eggplant, watermelon, basil. They
So
all
really-
can be grafted to make them a better plant.
Yeah.
That's what we call it, the mighty tomato.
That's true.
Here it comes to save the day.
It is
Because
so
it makes
true.
a better plant. Super roots.
So if people go to your website, will you have a listing of where they can go to buy these,
Sure.
which nurseries carry them?
Yes.
Well, there you've heard it from us. You know, I've known Alice an awfully long time. Neither one of us will admit that, but it has been a long time now. And I love seeing the changes that she consistently has brought to the market through Log House. So if this is something that interests you and you think, I've got to try this, go to gardentime.tv. We can click you over to her website, and you can find the garden center that carries these real close to you.
Great.
Alice, it's been such a delight. Thank you so much.
Garden Time is brought to you by Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people.
Hi, I'm Sarah with Portland Nursery, and I'd like to invite you to visit our website where you'll find valuable gardening information that you know is local to our area. Check out our Gardening Solutions page where you'll find over 100 helpful brochures, or sign up for our email newsletter to receive timely gardening advice, inventory updates, and upcoming classes and events. Portland Nursery, a passion for plants, a nursery for plant people, on 50th and Stark, 90th and Division.
Now's the time. Get slam dunk savings on all overstock items at Standard TV and Appliance.
Save big now on a Frigidaire front load washer, only $6.48. Huge savings on a Samsung French door refrigerator, only $12.49. Get a Bosch stainless steel dishwasher, only $5.39.
I still got it, folks. Don't miss it. They won't last long at Standard TV and Appliance.
Since 1926, the Bonide Company has worked with homeowners to make their homes and gardens beautiful. If you have a garden problem, Bonide has the answer. Want a picture-perfect lawn this summer? If weeds and clover are taking over, Bonide's Weed and Feed is the solution to your lawn problems. And with Vigor X, it prepares your lawn for summer too. Visit Bonide.com to find a local retailer and to download your free Bonide Problem Solver app for your iPhone or Droid.
At French Prairie Perennials, we take pride in being different. From our rare, unique, and unusual plant material and handcrafted garden art to our visualscaping program, we can help you create an outdoor living space as unique as you are. Our gift shop has home and garden decor and gifts for all occasions. Visit our store in the heart of Oregon wine country, French Prairie Perennials, Dundee, Oregon. Outdoor living elevated.
So I'm here with Sarah Ori, and we are at Portland Nursery on Stark Street. And Sarah, you know, as I look around, there is so many beautiful, beautiful plants. And that got me to thinking, there's a lot of great edible plants that are also very beautiful that we can step outside of our comfort zone and put them in a yard. And you were telling me about your new vegetable garden. Tell me that story again.
Yeah, so I'm ripping out a lot of things at home, starting on a blank slate, put in some vegetable beds, and I really wanted some artichokes and some blueberries, and I was thinking, well, they're so big, they're just not going to fit, and it took me a few months actually to say, you know what, I can put those in the front yard, and And they're beautiful. They have the fall color and big structure, and
so the idea that we
bonus.
have to have a rhododendron in a flower bed and a blueberry shrub in an edible area, vegetable bed type thing, really that no longer exists, does it?
No, it really doesn't, and it's a huge trend to have edibles in the landscape. And this, for example, is a sunshine blueberry. It's evergreen, so it keeps its leaves. It has beautiful red fall color, and then even if it wasn't an evergreen blueberry, a lot of them have such beautiful stem color that they add, red vertical structure to your garden.
Well, and look at the blooms on this. Even the blooms alone are worth it without the berries, but then you get the berries.
You do, and there is no color like a blueberry bud. I think it's a staple for every yard.
It really is, and now you can put them anywhere, or even in containers, a lot of them too. So another thing that I really find interesting is this Lonicera. Now Loniceras are honeysuckles, but this one you can actually eat.
You can. It's a honey berry, and we've got some mixed results, I think, depending on the different varieties and maybe how they're growing, but some of them can be good for fresh eating, and others you might want to put into a preserve where you're adding a little bit of sugar or something. I know it says honeyberry, it sounds so sweet, but
well, and there's so much work going on with them. A lot of work in OSU's doing work with breeding them. Russia does a lot of work with them. So clearly this is an up and coming vine that is going to be probably really delicious in no time, and a lot of things you can do with it.
Yeah, we're definitely see it growing in popularity.
Now I love this tiny little thing here, and this has been sold for so long as just a landscape plant, but also again edible berries.
Yeah, it has, and it's evergreen. Again, it's got these cute little bell flowers. This is a lingonberry, and you can eat it fresh as well, and you can preserve it. And so, yeah, we've been selling it just because it's pretty, and now more and more people are realizing that some of those more unique berries are edible and delicious.
And why wouldn't you want a small little hedge by a sidewalk that you can also eat the berries from as well? So it works well on so many levels. You know, I remember when I first moved to Oregon many, many years ago, I was delighted that there were certain kiwis that were hardy here.
Yep.
Now we know that there's a lot, and this is one of my favorites. Tell me about it.
This is going to get really big. This is going to get about 20 feet, but it will be a vine. So if you have, under maybe a raised patio or something that it could grow up, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Puts on beautiful flowers. This one is self-pollinating hardy kiwi.
Nice.
So it's like a grape-sized fruit, maybe a little bit longer. You can eat it, just eat it like a grape.
And they're delicious.
They are. Actually, they're one of my favorites, and if you have the room, I highly recommend planting one.
Now this strappy little chap next to us here, tell me about it, because I love mulberries, and you have a great selection of them here, so let's talk about that a bit.
Thank you. Yeah, this is one of the smaller ones that we do have. We've got some bigger trees as well, but this one, although it can make a real mess when...
They can be messy, but they're so delicious.
Yeah, when the fruit's dropping and when you're eating them. But this one is a really great underused tree and edible, and you were saying you use them in margaritas.
Oh yes, I do. I have been known to freeze the crop because they tend to get ready a lot, like real quick. And no matter how much I ate, I couldn't eat them all. And so I would freeze them, and then I could make margaritas later on in the summer with them, which were delicious. And two, they're a beautiful tree for shade as well, which I think we miss. But then of course, if you have a table under there, it's covered in berries. So this is just really a very brief selection of stuff that you guys carry.
Oh, there are so many. I mean, we tried to kind of pick some of the non-staple that people hadn't heard of, but I mean, so many different herbs, lettuce greens, small fruit bushes, berries, trees. I mean, even just, your regular apple, cherry trees, those have beautiful ornamental qualities. There's so many, and it's really a growing
it's a real growing field of excitement for people to be able to grow their own food, which we used to do in America 100 years ago all the time. So it's a nice return to those values. Well, here at Portland Nursery, they have a great selection of everything. So don't ever discount edibles, because they can work all through your garden. So whether you're looking from seed to tree, you can certainly come to either Portland Nursery, talk to the great staff, and pick up some wonderful things for your own yard that you can eat later on in the year. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thanks.
Garden Time is brought to you by Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
They had to take the car, they had to get it open with the jaws of life, take me out on a backboard, took me to a Trauma One center. I absolutely feel like the Subaru saved my life.
Well, we trust Capital. We trust our salesperson here, Jackie.
Jackie's great. I believe that she really cares about us.
She teaches me about the Subaru.
Our way on the Parkway.
Celebrate a spring tradition. Visit the Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens during the annual Lilac Days. Open daily from 10 to 4. See hundreds of blooming lilacs. Tour Hulda's Victorian home and gift shop. Take exit 21 off I-5 in Woodland, Washington.
Over the 30 years that our family has been in the nursery industry, we've learned that anyone can supply a customer with plants and garden supplies. But it's supplying those plants and supplies backed by a knowledgeable staff that can transform a garden and take it from ordinary to extraordinary. That's what we do at Sagawa Nursery. Why be ordinary when you can be extraordinary? Sagawa Nursery, growing beyond the ordinary.
Look at your home. Winter left behind grungy stained decks, walks, siding and lawn furniture. You know they look awful. Clean them all today with the original and still the best 30 Seconds Outdoor Cleaner. Since 1977, 30 Seconds has delivered clean when you want it clean. Easy to use, spray it on, wait, then hose away winter dirt, grime and stains from algae and mold. From our family to yours, thank you for buying 30 Seconds Outdoor Cleaner. Find it at leading home stores and garden centers.
Color, color, color. When you think of your garden, think of color. Then think of Margie's Farm and Garden. High quality plants and great customer service are our trademark. Fill your garden with color that comes back year after year. Perennials bring seasonal color and texture to any garden. This week, buy 2 perennials and get 1 free. Vegetables or herbs, hanging baskets or perennials, trust Margie's Farm and Garden, just off I-5 near Aurora.
It is a beautiful morning at Drake's on Shoals Ferry Road, and I'm with Robin Lee, one of the landscape designers here. And there is a really wonderful feel about this place. It's a kind of a new kind of a design for you here at Drake's. And so please explain about how this all works together.
Sure. So we are a garden center, but we are also a landscape showroom. So we have vignettes, basically, of landscapes. So you can come here, you can shop for plants, but you can also get inspired to design and build a landscape.
Ah, and so which one is this? Because it's very unique.
This is the rustic edible. So as you can see, it's got stonework, a fountain. We've got a variety of edible plants, a raised garden bed.
Very nice. I love these colander hanging baskets. They're great.
Absolutely. We've got everything from blueberries to some more exotic things like persimmon and olive.
Ah, and really you can take a lot of the ideas home.
Absolutely, yes.
Or go see you.
Yep, come and see us in the design studio for sure.
And so there's a couple different vignettes and different idea areas, so maybe we can go see one of those.
Sure, let's do it.
Robin, this is a whole different feel of a garden. Which is this one?
This is our Pacific Rim garden. So this is a Northwest Asian fusion.
Ah, but it's such a different feeling, such a nice calming feeling here.
Yes, it's a very serene environment in the middle of a city.
And Robin, the plants really reflect this idea here.
Absolutely, yes. It's got all the elements of a Asian garden, the falling water, the stonework, the plants.
It is beautiful and just so different than the other two. So that's really what you're trying to portray here, is to give people ideas. And this weekend is really a big one for you.
It is. It's our grand reopening, and it's going on today. We'll have a pot of coffee on. William will be here. We've got a landscape designer in-house for the day. So it'll be a really good time.
And you can really look and see what the changes are here. I love what you've done inside, right by your office, where the house plants are, and you get to stroll through, see all the plants, and see these lovely gardens.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place to hang out.
When people come out today for their grand opening, they're really going to see a whole different Drake's.
Absolutely. We have reorganized. We have brand new concrete walkways. It's really a fun shopping experience.
Yeah, I see there's new tables and really plants on every table, and every nook and cranny is kind of have some little thing going on, so you really have to kind of take the whole place in.
Absolutely. I'm here 5 days a week and I'm always noticing new beautiful details around here.
It's true. You really have to come out to Drake's and see this whole new concept, see this new garden center in its most beautiful state. If you have any other questions, go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to Drake's. Robin, thanks so much for all that information today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
The health and beauty of your garden starts from the ground up, and healthy soils begin at Grimm's Fuel. For the best in garden mulch, blended soils, and bark dust, choose Grimm's. U-Haul delivered or installed, Grimm's can do it. And if you're looking for a new lawn, Grimm's can do that too with our special lawn installation service. Grimm's is also the area's largest recycler of yard debris. The foundation for a healthy garden begins at Grimm's Fuel.
Create this year's containers and baskets with Black Gold natural and organic potting soil. Don't trust your edibles and flowers with a potting soil labeled organic. Look for the OMRI listed logo on Black Gold natural and organic potting soil to be sure it truly is organic. Look for earthworm-enriched black gold at your local garden center or go online to blackgold.bz. Black Gold, all the riches of the earth.
Judy,
Yep.
do you remember when I asked you if you liked me? I mean, if you really liked me?
Yeah, I liked you on Facebook.
Yeah, well, I need you to do that again.
Well, we really need everyone to like the new Facebook page for Garden Time. So you just go to gardentime.tv and click on the Facebook icon and like us again for our brand new page.
Since 1982, the Wall has been making local gardens beautiful, naturally. Whether you need a new wall, concrete patio, fire pit, or driveway, the Wall's expert craftsmen can build it. We back up our work with a 5-year warranty, so you'll know it'll last. We use the highest quality materials, including stamped colored concrete, natural stone, and we're the leader in using recycled concrete. Create an outdoor environment you'll enjoy for years, with the help of your friends at The Wall.
I am at Garland Nursery down in Corvallis with Brenda. And Brenda, it is a great day to talk about veggies because it is the time to get our veggies in.
Yes, it sure is. It's starting to warm up. It's sunny. The soil's warming up. It's the perfect time.
And that is important to have warm soil.
Yes, it is.
Especially for these kind of vegetables. These are kind of the warm season ones. So
Yes.
we're going to talk about peppers first because I think everybody talks about tomatoes and we'll talk about those later, but peppers are a little bit tricky too.
Yes, they are. Peppers really love it to be hot, and in fact, one of the best tips I've heard is to plant them into a black plastic container to really absorb the heat. And you'd want to, this is a 2-gallon size, you'd want to go with that size at a minimum of size. And when I did it last year, I planted them a little bit larger, 5-gallon, and a little bit larger than that, and they performed really well for me.
And you want to use a bag soil. You
Yes.
don't want to dig out soil from the garden.
That's correct, a good potting soil.
And I see that you have different peppers here because there's really a pepper for everything.
Yes, there is.
Every dish or every kind of taste.
Yes,
so what
there
did you
is.
pick?
So I picked a bell pepper, the Calendar bell pepper, because that's great for making stuffed peppers with the hamburger in the middle. Yum, my husband loves those. And it's also really good just for slicing too if you want to do that with it.
For salads, sure.
And then there's little baby bell peppers. So those are miniature and they're great if you're doing a crudité plate or some type of appetizer plate because they give lots of nice color and they're a good size for that, but they're also yummy just to snack on. Those are the snacker ones that you find in the plastic containers. And then there's hot peppers too. And I like the jalapeno, first off, for salsas. It's a good producer and it produces for a really long time, and it's perfect for salsa unless you want it to be really hot, in which case you could do a ghost pepper.
Ooh, and those are hot.
Yeah, and you probably, one thing I've learned is don't seed them and then touch your face,
Yeah, yes.
eyes, or anything else, or you'll burn them. So
yeah, be careful.
And then I like the Anaheim pepper and the poblano pepper, both of which are really great for chile rellenos. The poblano is a little bit spicier, so that's the one I prefer. It's a nice deep green and a nice size. The Anaheims can get a lot longer. And they're milder. My mom really prefers those because they're not quite as spicy.
And then we need to talk about watering, because peppers are, again, they're kind of like tomatoes. So at some point you have to reduce the watering on them.
So you want to be really consistent in your watering, so that you're not like watering and then letting them go bone dry and then flooding them again. So be consistent with your watering so that they dry out somewhat, but they don't go totally bone dry. And then as soon as they start to really start producing, then you're going to cut back a little bit on it.
And then I see this package, and these are the season starters, or we also call them walls of water. And they're great for early in the season, but with peppers you could do something different.
Sure, you could leave that around your pepper the whole season.
Wow.
And traditionally we think of them for tomatoes, but like you said, they're excellent for peppers as well.
Oh, great. And you just fill up all the little cells with water, and at night it kind of keeps them warmer from being the sun radiating on that water all day.
It pulls in that lovely solar energy and then sends it back out when it's cold.
It's a great idea. And then we have to talk about tomatoes, because everyone loves tomatoes.
Yes, absolutely.
And so really some good ideas about tomatoes too.
Okay, so where to start with tomatoes? So you're going to need a good sized container if you're doing them in a container, or a lot of room in your raised bed. I don't know about you, but there's a couple different types of tomatoes. There's indeterminate and determinate. And the determinate tomatoes are the kind that they grow, they set their fruit, they ripen, they're done. So they tend to be a lot smaller, and they really work well in containers. But your indeterminates, which just keep growing, keep producing forever until the frost kills them, they get big. Those are the ones you see advertised as tomato trees that get 8 feet tall, and I've had them get that tall in my garden. So you want to give them some space, and you want to give them some support as well. So tomato cages are really great. There's the small round kind, which would be great for determinants. Your indeterminates, especially your cherry tomatoes, are going to be better in a larger thing. And for some of the tomatoes, even this one isn't big enough. And then you can also train them if you wanted to, like on a trellis.
Sure.
I have a gal
like
that works here that she does them like that. So I've not ever done that though. But when you go to plant them, if they're in the ground, you need a well-worked garden soil that's had some compost or well-composted manure added to it. If you're going in a pot, you need a good potting soil for them. And when you go to plant them, so this is the really interesting thing, and don't try this with on much of anything else. But you want to plant them deeper than they are in the pot. So like this one, for instance, I would plant probably that deep.
That's deep.
And with these little guys, I'd probably plant them so that there's just, a couple inches sticking out of there. And that helps them to root out farther along the stem. It makes a sturdier, healthier plant. And then the other good thing with the indeterminate ones, that are going to go crazy, if you take and you pinch out these little side shoots, quite a few of them, like this, then you're going to get better production, more tomatoes, and the tomatoes are going to be bigger.
So the energy goes right to fruit.
Exactly. Exactly. And again, you mentioned the walls of water season starter. Those are great around the tomatoes as well as the peppers. You also want to you also want to make sure that you are providing a more neutral pH and calcium. Calcium is really important to tomatoes, and most of your limes have calcium in it, so that's a good way to add the calcium to the soil. You can do it in the fall, you can do it before you plant, you can do it after you plant as well, but a lot of times the lime isn't as readily available, the calcium isn't as readily available. So you can use in season a product called Rot Stop, which is calcium that goes into the leaves and helps prevent the blossom end rot, which is, when you have that tomato and it looks great from the top and you pull it out and you turn it over and there's that ugly black spot on the bottom, that's blossom end rot. And the calcium really helps with that, and the consistent watering that we talked about with the peppers also is really helpful. And Tomato Tone from Espoma is a great product, and it actually has added calcium as well, so that's kind of a double whammy if you do the lime and the Tomato Tone. Really great for the tomatoes.
And you really can't overdo it.
No.
And so we need to water these to a certain point and then we stop.
Yes.
But there's other vegetables that sometimes you don't have to do that to. You need to consistently water them all the way through the season.
And that would be like your melons and cucumbers and things. They're using a lot of water, so you're definitely going to want to keep them well watered through most of the season. And speaking of the melons and cucumbers, so let's talk about melons first.
Okay.
So everybody loves a good cantaloupe or a good watermelon. Well, I don't like watermelon, but that's another story. But a good melon, and you know what? We think that we're going to plant a melon plant and we're going to end up with those gigantic, humongo watermelons that you get from Hermiston. Well, there's a reason why they grow them in Hermiston and not here, because they get a lot more heat, and some areas get a lot longer season growth. So don't expect to plant a cantaloupe and buy what you're buying in the store. They're going to be smaller. They're going to be, you know, this size. Watermelons maybe that size, but they're not going to be gigantic. So just keep in mind. Oh, absolutely. They are super sweet and yummy.
But you were talking about a trick to help the soil stay warm.
Yes, you can also put down black plastic, and then you would cut kind of a square out of it, fold the little plastic back, and that really, like the walls of water, the black absorbs the heat, and so that keeps the roots really nice and warm, and it's a big help.
Well, really, there are so many little tips that you need to know about planting a garden, a vegetable garden. And you know, and it's every year. You make your notes. Sometimes you have success, sometimes you don't. But you know, you just go on and try something else, something new the next year. If you have any other questions, come on down to Garland's and ask their staff, or go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over their website, and you can email them too. Cool. Really, also so many good tips. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Judy. Thank you.
Success in the garden starts with the right plant in the right place. Farmington Gardens can help you succeed in planting and selecting for any corner of your garden. Spring is a fantastic time of year. Colorful, fresh, fragrant. And Farmington Gardens will help you revitalize your garden. So let's get started. We're here to help. Open every day and just a short drive out Farmington Road. Farmington Gardens. We're growing for you.
Celebrate a spring tradition. Visit the Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens during the annual Lilac Days. Open daily from 10 to 4. See hundreds of blooming lilacs. Tour Hulda's Victorian home and gift shop. Take exit 21 off I-5 in Woodland, Washington.
At Garland Nursery, you'll find
top quality plants,
4 generations of garden know-how,
fun and fantastic garden decor,
and the best in garden supplies.
Come visit us at Garland Nursery.
Since 1937, inspiring beautiful and bountiful gardens.
Subaru Garden Days returns to Capital Subaru in Salem. Join us for a day of food, fun, and garden excitement. Select garden vendors join William and Judy on the Parkway from 11 to 3. That's Subaru Garden Days, May 16th at Capital Subaru. Your way on the Parkway.
So it is delightful to be standing here at the new location of the Canby Farmers Market, and we're going to be chatting with several people here. But let's first of all, I'm going to go to this familiar face. How are you, Mallory?
Man, I'm good. How are you
I'm
doing?
good, thanks. And you have a new title. You are the director of the Chamber of Commerce here?
Right here in Canby, Oregon, yeah.
So you're here to talk about plants, because we all know and love you as plants, right?
Absolutely.
So tell us about some of the things that's going to be here for sale.
Well, listen, you know, as it is with farmers markets, you can get all the local stuff, and we are going to have that as well. Mother's Day hanging baskets, is it just time to do that?
It is. What? I think it is.
Yeah, and you know that's all going to happen, and of course all of the plants that come along with it, well, take a look. Blueberries.
Oh yeah, those will be here.
And we've got fuchsias right here. You can see marigolds, strawberries.
So you're going to have several different plant vendors that
we will
a
have
great
lots
selection
of
plants.
plant vendors, and also, you know, all of the handmade stuff, you know, that farmers markets always have.
Well, and I even noticed a beautiful bouquet of fresh cut flowers.
Yeah, you know what? Those are going to be beautifully hand wrapped.
Nice.
Fresh cut flowers from, I think Chang's is
going to have them here for them.
Farm here locally.
Nice.
And they're going to do a fantastic job.
Well, now I'm going to jump over here to someone much prettier than you, Mallory. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much.
You are the wonderful person that is managing the Canby.
Yes, I am.
So tell us some of the other stuff that's happening here.
We are so very excited about our new location. We have a lot of traffic out front, so the vendors are excited. Canby's excited. We have a lot of handcraft items, like Mallory said. We have St. Clair's birdhouses. We have pop shops. Kettle corn, which you can actually watch them make the
right
kettle
there.
corn
And the
right
smell,
here
the smell's going to be divine, isn't it?
Yes, it's going to be fantastic. We have some wonderful vendors with us today, and this is Angel Pies, Kimberly, and this is Neil from the Bistro, and I'm going to let you introduce them just a second.
I'm going to do that. So let me jump over here to you, Kimberly.
Yes.
So I hear, a bird has told me that you make the best amazing pies in the world. That's a big burden to bear, isn't it?
That's a wise bird. That's a very smart bird.
So tell me about these products and what do you think makes them so wonderful?
Well, I'll tell you what makes my pies really great and awesome. They're handmade with love, all kinds of love and blessings, and these are old recipes from my grandma Angel.
Oh, lovely.
And and it's just fun. I am trying to bring the family back to the table.
Yeah.
And I love to be part of people's celebrations and traditions and all
Wonderful.
kinds of fun stuff like
Thank
that.
you, Kimberly.
You bet.
And now, Neil.
Hi.
You have a place called Borealis Bistro,
Yep.
right?
And it's right there. It's all self-contained.
And what is it that we can be delighted by if we come up to Borealis Bistro?
All our meats on there, we have chicken, beef, and pork. They're all hickory smoked on a Traeger.
Wow.
And I've got that back at my home. And then we also do a breakfast burrito. We do wraps, shredded beef wraps and such.
Wow.
And so we try to mix it up, but our main flavor is hickory smoked meats.
There you go. So, this is a new location for this wonderful farmers market. You can go to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their Facebook page, and you can get all of the vendors that are actually going to be out here. So come on out, enjoy the day, enjoy the food, the flowers, and the amazing people. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
When we're in our gardens in the spring, it seems we see a lot of slugs and even snails. The snails, it seems that we're seeing them more and more. They may look pretty, but they're doing the same damage that slugs do.
And if you have trouble identifying what that damage is, we have a couple examples. This is a hosta leaf, and it's that space right there in the middle that has clearly been chewed on by something. And even iris leaves can be attacked by them, either on the side or in the middle. Now, the reason they have holes in the middle is because, unlike humans and a lot of animals, we have a mandible jaw, which just simply means we can open and shut it, thus giving us the ability to talk. Slugs don't have that. They set on a leaf, and they have a rasping jaw. So they do this, and eventually, just as you can see that damaging happening there, that's what happens when they put a hole in it. Now, we're showing you this damage on hosta and iris leaves, but if you see it on other plants, it's probably slugs and snails as well.
We are going to tell you about a wide range of products that will help you in your garden to get rid of these pests. The first one is by Bonide, and this is a product that contains metaldehyde or meta. So when you use this, you do have to be careful around pets and children. The way you apply this is just like you're using a shaker of salt around your garden. It's just a light sprinkling in and around the plants. Another product that we have is by Deadline, and there's a liquid and a granular. And so when you do use the liquid, you want to apply it by little drops. You don't want to over apply it because it will not let it be as effective. Also, when you're using the granular, again, you want to scatter it around the garden.
Now, if you're looking for something that's organic and more safe around pets and children, you might remember the name Sluggo. It's been around for several years now, and it is basically just iron phosphate. A lot of different names now have iron phosphate only, like Corey's, that's all iron phosphate. Espoma, it's a great product, but it's also iron phosphate. Bonide also has that kind of natural process as well, but they have done the job of adding spinosad, which will take care of like cinch bugs and cutworms and those pesky earwigs.
Well, I have a real organic method to use, which is using beer in a little container and put that just a little bit away from the plants. The slugs and snails will be drawn to it, they'll fall into the container, but they'll die happy.
Yeah, for a lot of us Pacific Northwesterners, that's just not an option.
Well, I have another method. You can use this copper tape. Now, this is just a little bit more expensive, but this is actually a barrier that you could put around a prize plant or a container, and the slugs and snails cannot go over it because they get an electrical shock and are shocked by it, and they'll drop off. And then the last and final method that we have today is using a piece of wood in the garden. And so check it the next day, the next morning, and if you flip it over, you'll find lots of slugs and snails kind of hanging out underneath it. You can use your pruners to either cut them in half or drop them into a soapy bucket of water, and that'll take care of them.
So for just a little bit of time and effort spent in your garden, you can take care of slugs and snails and keep your garden looking lovely all season long.
For over 75 years, Collier Arbor Care has provided tree, shrub, and lawn care services to the Portland metro area. From large tree to small shrub pruning, tree removal, and stump grinding, we can handle all your tree care needs. Our arborists diagnose and treat your toughest insect and disease problems. We also have organic solutions for growing and maintaining healthy lawns, as well as organic nutrition for your trees and shrubs. Collier Arbor Care, environmentally friendly since 1937.
What are you looking for?
Judy, I'm looking for the Garden Time Subaru.
William, it's right behind us.
And you can find it too. It's as easy as going to gardentime.tv.
So click on gardentime.tv and click on the Subaru. Each month the Subaru will be in a different location. Give us your best guess and you could possibly win.
Each month, one lucky person will be chosen from all the correct answers. Prizes can include a gift card to a great nursery, some wonderful tools, or other sweet prizes.
So go to gardentime.tv and help us find the Subaru.
Professionals have grown with Dram watering tools for over 65 years. Discover the quality of Dram. Nurture your plants with a shower of rain. Select from 9 water patterns. Care for your lawn with quality that will last a lifetime. Dram, the professional's choice for lawn and garden, at a fine garden center near you.
Well, I am standing here with Amber at Par Lumber, and we are going to be talking today, Amber, about decking and really taking a deck that might look kind of old and weathered and making it pop.
Absolutely. So this is a common issue regarding most decks. Well, anything that's been exposed to our Oregon weather or sun or over time your deck will gray because of the natural tannins. If you have a cedar deck, for instance, that's why it turns gray. There's several different cleaners available in the market right now to use. We've got super deck cleaners right here. Kind of show you on this board what we have is this is unstained, untreated wood. So this is going to be kind of the worst of what you'll get. Then the next step we have is we've cleaned it just using the Super Deck cleaner. Again, like I said, there's a lot of cleaners out there on the market. Basically what that's going to do is remove all of the dirt and start to scrape away some of that tannin.
Okay.
Now, if you want to apply a stain and you're not doing like a solid pigment stain that's going to cover up a lot of that gray that's left, like here, we're going to do a brightener. What the brightener is going to do is remove what's left of that tannin and really give the wood its natural, vibrancy. It's that.
And it's obvious that it actually really does brighten it up.
Yes, it really does work. Yeah, these are put it on by its recommended times. This is exactly the result you're going to get. These boards were from these boards, so the process really does work.
It really does, and that's with this product here.
That's with this
but
product
is that
here.
pretty much all of them you would want to use something to start the cleaning with? Now, before you start cleaning, let's say there's some moss and stuff on there. I'm assuming that you would sweep that or power wash it off first and then do the cleaner?
Either one. You can scrub it with the brush. All of these are easiest if you can pump spray it on, let it set for its time, and then scrub it with a nice deck brush or broom, one of those shop brooms. They're all going to get you the same result. As long as you follow the instructions on the containers, you should be getting results just like these.
So then once we get to the cleaned and brightened spot, we're clean, then what is our next step?
So then you should have boards similar to this. Now these are new boards, but you can see from the old board, it's pretty similar. The stain we're going to use today is called Penifin.
Now I have to say, I've heard a lot of people talk about this product and with rave reviews.
Yes. Penifin is a great product. One of the things that makes Penifin different from other stains you may see is they use rosewood oil. And that absorbs into the actual wood fibers more than you will see on some of the other semi-transparent stains that are out there. It's got one of the strongest mildicides out there. It's just a really good stain that offers 90 to 99% UV protection, which can be unheard of in some stains in some of the markets. So,
well, now I noticed that I'm the only one with gloves on. Why is that?
You know, darn, I just don't know where to get a good pair of gloves. So since you're ready, Penifin is on deck surfaces typically a 2-coat process.
Okay.
So when you brush you can brush it, use a pad like this, a sprayer. You can use anything to apply the stain.
So if you have a lot of space, you could even spray it on.
Yeah, we're going to brush it on today because obviously our deck is very small. So
it's a tiny little deck.
It's the tiniest deck. So you're going to brush your stain on and then wait about 30 minutes. And then what you'll want to do after that 30 minutes is take any kind of rag that isn't going to release a lot of fibers. We wouldn't want to use this side.
So I'm going to start brushing this on. Is there a specific way, or is this just
I
good?
always say with the grain of the wood, like you're doing now.
Okay.
Unlike an interior stain, you're not going to see, you know, as if you brushed against the grains, you won't see as much on the deck surface as you would, you know, doing a hemlock or an oak in your home.
It goes on pretty easy.
Oh, it's great. So then you're going to let this soak for about 30 minutes. And then afterwards, we're just going to rush and do this, but you're going to be wiping the excess. Now, there will not be this much excess in 30 minutes.
Certainly.
You know, there'll be a little bit.
Because it's going to absorb into the wood.
It'll absorb into the wood. Basically, what's going to come out is what it can't handle at the moment.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to be wiping off. So we'll just, you know, wipe it off. And the reason you want to wipe it off is because, you know, there's going to be some dampness to what's remaining, and it will attract dust and everything else. And so what we want to do is remove that excess, and then what you're going to do is apply another coat, let that set, and do the same process again.
Okay.
Wipe the excess off. Now, this one here has had the two-coat process done to it.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, you can see on the end of the grain, too, how far that rosewood oil has soaked into your wood.
Yeah. Well, now, we were talking earlier, and unlike a lot of different stains, once this is on, if you want to reapply it in the next year or two, you don't have to strip it. This can be applied on top of itself.
Yeah, another great quality about the Penifin is exactly that. There's no stripping process needed. It's just a nice, you know, brush off. Hopefully there won't be any moss or mildew because of the mildicide in the Penifin, but you know, scrub it with the brush, hose it off, let it dry, just put another coat. There's no stripping. You don't have to start from one again, you know.
Sounds very, very good. All right, well, you know, we all have decks, most of us, and we're in Oregon, and they're going to get kind of not the best looking things in the world. So for more information on how you can make your deck look brand new, come on out to any of the Par Lumbers. Thank you so much, Amber.
Thank you.
I'm getting ready to work in the garden, and I have a great tip for you. You know how sometimes you take off your garden gloves and you have blisters on the palm of your hand? This is a great tip to prevent it. Use 2 gloves. Get a pair of surgical gloves and put those on first, and then get your work glove to put on. This way, the friction happens between the 2 gloves and not between the glove and the palm of your hand. You're all ready to work in the garden and have no blisters. That's our great tip of the week. Use 2 pair of gloves to prevent blisters.
If you build it right. Build it to last. Don't just build it for yourself. Build it for the next generation. Build it with Par Lumber. And keep building the Great Northwest.
Par's Deck Expo is Saturday, May 2nd in Raleigh Hills and West Lynn. Plan your next deck project with our deck experts. Enjoy huge savings, giveaways, and more. Visit par.com for details.
Subaru Garden Days returns to Capital Subaru in Salem. Join us for a day of food, fun, and garden excitement. Select garden vendors join William and Judy on the Parkway from 11 to 3. That's Subaru Garden Days, May 16th at Capital Subaru. Your way on the Parkway.
Surround yourself with wonderful color this summer. It's time for the annual spring sale at Hydrangeas Plus. Hydrangeas are the perfect plant for any garden, large or small. We are cleaning out our nursery, so come and take some plants home to your garden. We're offering special once-a-year pricing on nearly everything we grow. Also, check out our selection of grasses and other blooming perennials. It's the annual spring sale at Hydrangeas Plus.
Little Baja is your source for a whole lot of terracotta and concrete too. From bird baths and benches to Buddhas, bears, and fountains, plus the exclusive Baja chimney. We have an amazing variety of the finest in terracotta and concrete containers. Come check out our selection of statuary for any garden theme or setting. So for something for the garden, deck, or patio, come see us at Little Baja on East Burnside in Portland. Find us on Facebook too.
Locally grown, fresh from the farm, stylish and sustainable, your dream yard starts at Owl's Garden Center. Grow your own herbs and veggies and enjoy healthy meals all summer long with minimal space and effort. Our starts are fresh from our local farm, grown all naturally and GMO free. And right now, when you buy 3, you get 3 free. Limit 3 free per customer. Over 150 varieties to choose from. Start your garden today. Owl's Garden Centers in Woodburn, Sherwood, and Gresham.
Celebrate a spring tradition. Visit the Hulda Klager Lilac Gardens during the annual Lilac Days. Open daily from 10 to 4. See hundreds of blooming lilacs. Tour Hulda's Victorian home and gift shop. Take exit 21 off I-5 in Woodland, Washington.
So I am standing here with Clem, and we are at the Oregon Garden here in Silverton. And I'll tell you, Clem, you have a great job, I think. You actually give tours, and it's from a company called Best Oregon Tours, right?
That's right, William.
So how did you get into that?
Well, by way of introduction, I am the principal and owner of Best Oregon Tours, and we are the premier resource for customized tours throughout the region and along roads less traveled.
Yeah.
And my background is actually in historic preservation, and so I know a thing or two about conservation and stewardship.
So this isn't just really about taking people on tours. This is, you really get some great information about every place you go as well. A lot of good stuff that you can learn from you. If you
Absolutely, William, because our primary focus is that we put people first, and our knowledgeable guides are well-traveled and they're credible experts, and we host guests from all over the world who are really interested in a personal experience.
Well, and proof of that is here at the Oregon Gardens. We are standing in front of one of the wonderful old oak trees here, and that's one of the favorite spots you have here, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, is it ever. We have behind us the signature oak tree, which is estimated at 100 feet tall, 23 feet in circumference, and it's more than 400 years old.
That's older than me.
Me too.
That's amazing.
And so if you look at the chronology of that coincides with the Mayflower's landing at Plymouth Rock and the settlement of Jamestown in Virginia.
Wow. So there's not only is it a beautiful garden here at Oregon Garden, it's also got some great historic plants as well, but there's another place that you really like. So let's take a walk over there and take a look at it real quick, okay?
Sounds great.
So Clem, we took a really short walk from that beautiful old oak here to Lewis and Clark, and there's a connection there, isn't there?
Well, as a matter of fact, there is, William. When Lewis and Clark visited the Northwest, that tree was already 200 years old.
That's amazing. And so what does this part of the garden at the Lewis and Clark part teach us?
Well, what it teaches us is the incredible significance of the Lewis and Clark expedition.
Yeah.
And just to refresh everyone's memory, they were dispatched by then President Thomas Jefferson. They left in May of 1804. They journeyed through the plateau country of eastern Oregon and Washington, along the Columbia Gorge, through the temperate rainforest, And visitors to the Oregon Garden can experience that whole journey in this Lewis and Clark Legacy Botanical Garden behind us. It's just fabulous.
It is fabulous.
I can't express it any other
Well, and you know,
way than that.
we've seen two areas now that are really kind of natural, but one of the great things, if we walk over here, Clem, that is so fun about the Oregon Garden is it also has great structures, fountains, and forms, like this beautiful thing right here.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons that I feel that the Oregon Garden is such a standout. Of other garden tours that we do, the Oregon Garden really speaks to people at so many different levels. So regardless of people's socioeconomic backgrounds, their environmental ethics, and even their scientific or horticultural knowledge base, there's something here for everyone. And
like the market.
Like the Silverton Market
Perfect.
Garden. Let me tell you a little bit more about this.
Okay.
What a cornucopia of fruits, veggies, herbs. A lot of people don't realize what a huge role agriculture plays in our state, William.
It's really true, isn't it?
Yeah. We're the 10th largest state in the United States, and we produce over 147 different ag crops.
Wow. That's impressive.
It really is. And visitors can see how apples and pears and cherries are being produced, so it's a very important teaching tool for visitors.
And as much as you love the Oregon Garden here in Silverton, you do great tours, though, of so many of the wonderful gardens all over the area. Tell me a little about those.
Well, William, somebody's got to do it. Among my favorites, the Lansu Classical Chinese Garden in Portland.
Yes.
The Portland Japanese Garden, Deepwood Estates in Salem.
Lovely, yeah.
Hendricks Park in Eugene.
We're so lucky because we have so many beautiful places that we can go and visit.
We really do. And so our visitors, I mentioned earlier, are not only from around the globe, but they're really from the neighborhood around the corner.
Yeah.
And it's astonishing to me how many people we encounter on some of these tours who are natives, they're locals, and they've never been to X, Y, or Z.
And it doesn't even, you don't just do like all-day tours, you even do like half-day tours.
We do half-day tours. And so I think one of the signature things that we go after for people is to provide some insight into the dynamics of nature, history, art, and culture.
Perfect.
And one can experience that in places like the Oregon Garden and down the hill here at that magnificent Frank Lloyd Wright house,
so true.
The Gordon House. World-class destination here.
Well, there you have it. So if you want to learn more about the amazing gardens all over Oregon that you can visit, I can't think of a better place to do it than going to gardentime.tv. We'll click you over to their website. You can set up a tour for yourself. Clem, this has been a real delight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to stop out at Drake 7 Dees out on Shoals Ferry Road today for their grand reopening.
And remember, May 16th at Capital Subaru is Subaru Garden Days. We look forward to seeing you there.
And for more information about Subaru Garden Days or anything you saw on today's show, please go to gardentime.tv.
Thanks so much for watching. We can't wait to do it all again next week, right here on Garden Time.
Subaru Garden Days returns to Capital Subaru in Salem. Join us for a day of food, fun, and garden excitement. Select garden vendors join William and Judy on the Parkway from 11 to 3. That's Subaru Garden Days, May 16th at Capital Subaru. Your way on the Parkway. The proceeding was a paid program of the Guston Creative Group and its sponsors.